Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now it's a beautiful day on my small farm here in the Hunter Valley, Australia. And today what I want to do is plant two new plants into the ground, and they are crepe myrtles. Now we bought these plants about 4, maybe 6 weeks ago, and we've left them sitting in the pots, which is far too long. So today I'm going to grab my UHI Mini Excavator, we're going to dig some holes and we're going to get the plants out of the pots and in the ground. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave, and today I'm just doing a quick planting job out here in my garden. This is where an area we have that we call the purple corner or the purple pink corner. So a lot of the plants and stuff that we have up in this area of our garden is purple or pink or blue. You can see that we've already got a flowering tipicina. This is a plant version of it, it's not the tree version of it, so it doesn't grow very tall, but in autumn it comes out with these fantastic purple flowers that are really nice. This particular bush has been in for a couple of years now. Beside it I've got a crepe myrtle, and we are currently in April, which is our autumn here in the southern hemisphere, and these crepe myrtles come out in brilliant flower. I'll put a photograph up now of what they look like when they're in bloom in probably about the middle of summer. For us it's sort of January, February, right in the middle of our summer. And then after that they lose all of their flowers and all the leaves drop off, and they really just look like dead sticks, and they don't look very attractive in winter at all. There's another one over here, you can see the remnants of the flowers and things are on there, and I've got another one down here as well. This is another crepe myrtle, all about the same colour. They're sort of like a purpley pink type of colour. Now the reason I'm out here today is that I want to put in a couple of other ones here. These plants we actually bought for our daughter to put in her garden some months ago, and we've been watering them, but they've been struggling now. They've been in the pots for way too long. They've been in there for like 2 months or something, and unless they get in the ground they're really going to die. This one's not really blue or purple coloured, it's sort of a bright pink coloured one there. That's the colour of it. And the other one over here I have is the same plant, and they look a little bit unhealthy at the minute, but I'm hoping that when I put them in the ground that they will be okay. They'll get established over winter and then they'll be fine in summer. They'll come out and start flowering again. So this is the area I've got here. I'm going to put one in here, one in over there, and then this is the other area here, just for sort of general knowledge of what else is in the garden. Over there I've got some jacaranda trees I've put in, and some claret ashes up in the corner, and the idea is eventually this is going to be a big open area here that's going to have seating and stuff under these big claret ash trees and jacaranda trees. But anyway, that's like a 20-year plan. So I'm going to put these in today, and I'm going to be using my weapon of choice, which is my little mini Chinese excavator here, my UHI UME 12. And one of the attachments I've got on the front of it today that comes in the package that you buy is the auger drive motor and the auger bit there. The auger bit on these ones are only a 200mm or 8-inch wide auger bit. They're not very wide. You can get a 300mm or a foot version, 12-inch version. This is only the 8-inch one, but it suits fine for digging holes. So I'm going to use that today to dig down. Now the reason I'm using this in this particular ground is that there's not a lot of topsoil on this ground, and I'm going to dig 3 holes like in a triangle shaped around where my plant's going to go, and dig down probably, I don't know, about from the bottom up to here, so maybe 2 feet, something like that, and then dig that dirt out. And you'll see when I dig it out that it's got quite a bit of clay in it. I'm going to go up to my compost pile, which is over there, and use some of my compost and actually mix it with the original soil and put in some dynamic lifter and plant the trees. So that's the plan of attack. I've only got 2 to do. It won't take me too long to do it. After I put them in, I'm just going to put some tree guards around them, because this area up here is notorious for rabbits. They all come out of the trees up the back up there in the neighbour's property, and they tend to sort of ring bark stuff, if that makes sense. I was going to show you this tree here. This one hasn't actually got a tree guard on it, but they've been very, I don't think I can sort of show you now. They eat all the bark off the sides and basically ring bark the plant, and once they do that, the plant dies. But as a bit of an experiment, I've got these ones covered. These ones have like a chicken wire type protection around the plant, and the one over here, I haven't ever put anything on it just to see what the difference would be. And although they have attacked it and they have eaten the bark quite a bit, it still seems to grow, and I haven't sort of changed that. However, on these ones here, because they are quite young, and the rabbits seem to like something that's quite thin. So if you look at the size of the plant against the size of my finger there, it is quite thin there, and that would be ideal for a rabbit to chomp through. They would just come in and they'd just eat that straight off there, and the plant would completely fall over in half. So I think what I'll do is I actually have some plastic tree guards and some bamboo stakes, so I'll just put a plastic guard around that when they're in. All right, well, that's probably enough of an intro. Let's get on and start digging some holes. Okay, so I'm going to put down 3 holes. Now I've got this auger drive connected to my foot pedal, so I can go forwards and backwards. Obviously you need to go forwards when you're going down and reverse when you're coming up, so I'll just go down there. You can vary the throttle a bit, makes it go a little bit faster. Now I do know where I'm going to put this hole is, that I don't have any water pipes. I have put water pipes in this area, but they're right over against the fence, so I'm pretty confident there's nothing in the ground here. You always got to pace to check before you start digging holes. I'm just going to go quite slowly, and if you can see that soil looks quite dark where it is, but the deeper down I get, it's going to get a little bit. Okay, so that's not too bad. If I pull that up, that lighter colour material that you may be able to see on the camera there is actually clay material. Actually, I'll get off and I'll show you. Let's have a look. So there's a bit of sand and stuff in here, which isn't too bad. But if I get some of this stuff here, you can see there that it's quite clay. You can actually make a clay ball out of it. So that's not great. And it's not the worst soil on the property. There's worse than this, but it's still pretty bad. Anyway, I'm just going to dig in another 2 holes. So I'm just going to come over here a little bit and dig another one. And then I'm just going to put one in the middle, like I've got a triangle shape here, about in there somewhere. And I'm going to have to dig out what's between these with the shovel that I'll do in a minute, but I'll just dig these holes. A little bit sticky there. You'll see that the auger drive sort of slowed down a little bit. That's all right. Okay, swing this out of the way for the minute and I'll just turn the machine off and yeah, I'll dig that hole out. So that's my 3 holes I've got there. I could have probably managed to get them a little bit closer together, but what I'm going to do now is probably get some sort of shovel and just take out this centre part here. So I've got this bigger area than I actually need for the tree, but it's all going to be filled in with better soil, and rather than just, you know, I could probably plant the tree in here. If I actually get the tree itself, is it going to come out of the pot? No. You can see that it's almost big enough that I could put that tree just in one of the holes, because that's an 8-inch pot obviously. But then all the new roots would be trying to get into that clay and stuff on the walls, which is make it struggle a bit. So if I make this area 3 times the size, it'll give it a lot more soft soil for these new roots to grow into. Okay, so I'm just going to use my post hole shovel. This is what it looks like, one of those things there. As you can see, the last time I used it must have been when I was fixing the water pipe. And it's got lots of clay and stuff on it, but the good things about these is you can actually pick up the material and pull it out like that. So it's good to remove the soil. So I'm just taking the middle of those 3 holes out, making a bigger hole than what I did with the auger. The soil is not too bad. It does have clay in it, but I don't know if you can see that there are... Let me grab a bit of this and I'll show you. So if I show you that, that's actually quite nice black soil, which is topsoil. So that's all right. When we first moved here, we're just digging quite small holes just into the ground and putting the trees in and putting the original soil back in. But because the amount of clay in our soil we have here, really the trees didn't grow very well at all. They really struggled. And the worst thing I've found here with clay soils is it's great when they're wet, and this area is not too bad. But the worst thing is with clay soils is when you get a really dry spell in summer, the clay dries out, and when it dries out, it sets like concrete. It's really hard, and it just stops all types of growth of roots. Everything just stops because it can't get through this really solid. Oh, I'm out of breath now. Solid layer of sort of dried out clay. And the last couple of trees we've put in, we've done it this way, and it's tended to work a lot better, where you make a much bigger hole than you need and bring in some better soil, but you don't replace everything that's in the hole. You sort of mix compost together with what you take out. Now I was going to try and make my hole nice and round for you, but I don't think I'll do that. It's just a hole, isn't it, really? Okay. Depth wise, it's probably a bit over a foot maybe. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, just grab the camera. Okay, so that's what I've ended up with here, and you can see that that's the size of my plant in there now. That's the difference. So I'm going to mix some compost with my soil I've got there, and then put it in here, put the plant up a little bit above ground level, and I've got about, I don't know, maybe a foot or so underneath it for those roots to grow into. So that'll be the go. Right, let's get some compost. Okay, so here's my compost. I've been using some of it to put in my veggie patch beds, but it's quite a big pile. And this all started life just as grass clippings and leaves, and it's probably taken, this has been here for a while now, it's probably been 6 months or something like that, I think, to break it down. But as you can see, if I put it in front of the camera here, that it's all nice and light and broken down. There's still some twigs and leaves and stuff in there, but it's all pretty good. I think that will probably be enough, maybe a little bit more. So the idea of this is I'm just going to mix it with my soil that I took out of the hole. It's got a bit of clay and stuff in it, and just make a bit better mix for my plant to grow into. Gee, I'm breathless. My knee is killing me at the minute. Not my good knee. If you've been following the channel, you would know that I had a knee replacement last year on my left knee, and about now my right knee has gone out, and I'll probably have to have a right knee replacement in a couple of months. Okay, so I've got my good soil here, my not good so good soil there. So I think what will I do? I think I'll tip some of this out, put some of this in and mix it together. Okay, I've got my compost in here, and I guess a question could be asked, well, why not just fill the hole with compost by itself? And I don't know how to answer that really. When I was planting my big red maple tree, the grower at the tree place said, don't replace all of the soil, just mix some of your older soil with some good soil. So it's a bit of a mix, but I am going to make sure I take out any of the grass that's in there. Yeah, they said to not replace the soil, just to mix the older soil with some newer soil, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just trying to get shovel loads of the blacker type soil that I took out of the hole, that's not so much the clay, which is a little bit hard. And now I've just got to go through it and take out some of the grass that's in there, because probably the grass would start to again. Okay, it's not too bad. Right, so now I'm just going to stir the pot and mix that round a bit. Mix some of the compost with the new soil and make a bit of a 50-50 mix of the soil I took out of the hole and the compost. I think if there is clay in the old soil, but I think the benefit of putting the compost in there that it will help break down that clay from the original soil. A bit more grass. I could probably put some clay breaker in the bottom of the hole, which may make it a little bit better. But I think that's all right. It's not too bad. So that's a bit of a mix. It's not 50-50, but yeah, there's a bit in there. All right, so I'll put that in the hole. Okay, so now I'm going to spoon my mix in there, and I don't know whether actually I'm going to have enough. Actually, one thing I'm going to do before I do that, I will just grab the camera, and I've got some dynamic lifter pellets here. And this is quite a mild, I wouldn't call it a fertilizer as such. It's a soil improver. The NPK on it isn't very strong. It's, 3.6 and 1.7 and 1.1. So like 4, 1, 2 maybe as NPK. So it's pretty mild. But what I tend to do with this is just get a handful of it. So I've got some pellets here. And I'll just put them down the bottom of the hole here, and that'll just give me a layer of some nutrients type down the bottom of the hole when the roots finally get down that far. Oh yeah, could maybe mix up just a little bit more because it is going to settle. Yeah, I just need a little bit more to put in there. Okay, I've just mixed up a little bit more of my soil mix because I want it to sit sort of a bit proud of where the ground level is, because I don't want the plant to be sitting with water around it. I want it to be up a little bit more. So that looks pretty good to me. See, there's still sticks and stuff in here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I think that's all good. Okay. So that's my area here that I've got. And now, of course, I just need to dig a bit of a hole to put my plant into. Haven't got my little, just use this bigger shovel. I should really just use my small one. Trouble is, because this material now is so soft, it's hard to dig a hole that you can keep nice and clean before you put the plant in. I think we're getting there. Okay, that's good. Now I'll just trial the depth of my hole. Yeah, it's way a little bit too deep, so I can just put a little bit of soil back in there, build that level up a bit. About there's fine, yep. Maybe even a bit more. Okay, so then I'm going to take my plant out of the pot, and this has been in the pot for a long time. So you can have a look at the roots here. They're not too bad. It's not really overgrown. Just give them a bit of a loosen up here on the base. And then just put that in the hole. Making sure the plant's nice and upright. It's about there, and then I can just pack my soil back down the side. Make sure there's no air down the side because the roots don't like growing into the air. Press that down, and that's pretty good. Now I'll just bring that soil back in a little bit. And I think that's about job done. Just keep it a little bit higher at the base of the plant. And the water will settle around the outside here rather than right at the plant. So I think that's pretty good. I'll just grab the camera and give you a closer shot here. Press that down nice and firm. Okay, how's that look? Take the camera here, and this is what we've ended up with. So the plant's sitting in the hole there. The centre here is a little bit higher than the outside, so the water won't tend to just stop around the base of the plant. The water will actually stay in this sort of ring area around here. Okay, so that's not too bad. That used quite a bit of nice new soil, so that's all right. So that's some of the older stuff there, but what I'll do with that is I'll pick that up and put that back in the new compost pile that I'm making, and that can be a bit of a starter for that. Okay, so I've done one. I've got to do another tree over here. I won't go through the whole process again, and I'll get this one in, and then we'll talk about putting the tree guard on. Okay, I've just put my second tree in, and I'm going to now put some protection. So what I've decided to use is this plastic tree guard and 3 of these bamboo stakes. I've got quite a few of these left over from a previous planting, and I could put chicken wire around there. I just don't have any spare chicken wire at the minute, and I just saw these sitting in the box, so I might as well use these. These are quite a thick plastic. They do last quite a long time. They don't break down really that easy, so the trouble is that if they do blow away and end up in the dam or against a fence, they don't seem to break down. I suppose that's good and bad. That's the bad point. The good point is, being nice and thick, is they actually tend to stay around the trees quite well and don't break down or don't rip. So all I'm going to do is just take my bamboo stakes and just make a triangle around the outside of my tree, about there somewhere, and I can go quite a long way in, and then I can fit, while my tree is still small, I can actually fit my tree guard over the top. So I'm just going to slide it over the top, pulling the branches up as I go, like that. Put it over my 2 tree guards. Make sure it goes right down the bottom, like that. And then the 3rd stake can go in behind. Can make a bit of a triangle. Might have to move these in a little bit. I think they're a bit too far apart. Move that one into there, I think. And just do that. Now, the benefit of using the plastic is that if grass grows back around the plant here, is I can use a herbicide and I can spray around here to kill all the grass, and it won't actually get onto my plant. So it's a bit of an extra benefit using the plastic in that respect. Okay, I've got some sugarcane mulch. There's just a little bit left in the bag here. I'm just going to grab a couple of handfuls and just put it on the inside down there, and that'll just give me a layer around my plant there to stop any grass and weeds growing up right against the plant. So that's fine. Okay, one of the last steps is just to water it in with a bit of this sea salt solution here. It just helps a bit with the transplant shock from the plant going in. So I'm just going to give that a couple of capfuls on the end there, if I can. A bit hard doing this one-handed. About that much. So in a 9-litre container, there's probably, I don't know, that much in it. Not much, just a little bit in there, and fill up with water. That's what it looks like. It sort of looks brown and quite dark when it's in the watering can. Well, that really didn't take too long to get those 2 plants in. Probably, what, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes? It's much better to have them now sitting in the ground than leaving them in the pots. And they won't, unfortunately, look any better until springtime. In fact, they're going to look a little bit worse over winter. All those leaves will fall off and it really will just look like a dead stick up until springtime, when we'll get new growth on the leaves and eventually some nice pink buds. But they're a beautiful looking tree. We've got quite a few in already in the garden, and yeah, I really like the look of them. Anyway, that's today's video. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for supporting the channel and watching the videos. Stay safe on the farm, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.